2nd of February, Rabbi Furst, Mishna Berura.
Okay, good morning again. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here in Shiva Samanavshi, here in Yerushalayim Kiruv Zoom. We're currently in our second shir, Mishnah Berura, Hilchis, Botzeas Hapas, Simon, Kuf, Samech, Vod. All right, so let's read the Mechaber, and then we'll do holding by the Ramah, if I'm not mistaken. Just have to finish up a few.
Kuf Samech Vav.
Kuf Samech Vav. And we'll read the Mechaber and the Ramah, and then we'll go into the Mishnah Berura where we've already started that.
I'll hold it. Let's see. Kuf Samech Vav. Beautiful. Okay, finally found it. Kuf Samech Vav. Okay, so these are, let's see, Bin Hafsaka Ben B'tziah L'Netila. Okay, so this is the laws that of the break, the hafsakah, the cessation, I guess, between eating bread and washing. Okay. Yesh omrim she'ein tzarich lizaher mihafsik ben netila lahamotzi. Okay, so there's some that say that there's no need to avoid making the break between the washing of the hands and hamotzi.
Right, that you have the first opinion that there's no need to be careful about making an interruption between the bracha of the washing of the hands and the bracha of hamotzi. You don't have to be concerned. You interrupt and do whatever we'll see what's considered to be a hefsek, but you don't have to be concerned about making a hefsek. That's the first opinion. And then there are others that say,
okay, and so others say that not only that you should be careful, v'tov lizaher, it is better to be careful. Okay, let's see, ve'im Shaha Kedei Chiluch Kaf Bet Ama Mikre Hefsek. Let's see, even if Shaha, that there is a delay of 22 amma.
right.
I guess that's considered a hefsek.
Right. If there's a delay, im shah, if there's a delay, the amount of time it takes to walk 22 amas, which is about, I think 10, probably more, maybe closer to, I think I'm looking here, I think it's somewhere between 11 and 18 seconds, depending, I guess, the person. Somewhere between 11 and 18 seconds.
That's actually a pretty long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
this comes up a lot of times. You have this. We'll discuss it more in detail, but you're at a chasana sometimes, and there's a long way to walk from the wash station to where your table is, right?
right.
Oh yeah, good point.
So that's probably where it's most common. Another common scenario is when you're at home. Sometimes you have the family, there are guests, and a lot of people washing, and you're waiting for everyone to wash, and you know, so that could also, even if it's just a delay without doing anything, right? So we'll discuss what to do in these situations, but we'll first see the halakha in its full. Then we'll try and discuss what are good options to do in those situations.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like Shabbos meals, if you have a lot of people over, it is a long wait between washing and hamotzi.
Right, right. That right. If you remember, go back to Kuf Samechet. Just it's on the same page, or maybe the facing page of what we're on now. If you remember there in Sif base, look in Sif base in Kuf Samechet.
Oh, okay. So it says, let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is our situation. Im rabim misubim bisuda, hagadol notel yadav techila. Okay, so if there's a lot of people uh, eating at the meal, uh, the prominent one washes his hands first. I guess maybe that's what, like the father of the family, maybe.
Usually girdle is either in age or in wisdom, depending on the situation.
Uh-huh. Okay. The Harosh haya ragil litov achrona. The Rosh usually always, I guess, washed last. Shalo
The to-
lahavsik shalo ledaber, so that he wouldn't have an interruption and that he wouldn't, I guess, talk.
Right. So you see, he was concerned about the delay between if he would wash first. So he chose to wash last. There shouldn't be
Uh-huh.
a delay, or he shouldn't come to speak in between the washing and the motzi. So yeah, it's a common situation. We'll discuss this in full. Hopefully, we'll try and come up with some ideas how to circumvent the difficulties here. So yeah, so it's even if it's just simply the time that it would take to walk the 22 amos, that's called a hefsek. And according to the second opinion, you should be careful, right? It's tov, even according to the mechaber, it's tov to be. You should be concerned about trying to keep this under control and not to fall into situations where this is going to be an issue. So let's see. We'll pick up in the Mr. Brewer. 1 second, guys. Um, um, yeah, Dalit. Sifkat and Dalit in the Mishnah Brewer.
Okay, so ve'im shaha v'chule. Okay, so this was let's see, Dalid. Oh yeah, this was yeah, okay. So if it's uh I guess the prominent one, Hainu Misha'a Shenigev Yadav Ad Birchad Hamotzi. Okay, so that he should uh Hainu Misha'a, that there was
From the time.
time.
What is the delay? Meaning when does this delay actually begin? Meaning again, don't forget you're washing your hands. You're washing your hands. You're making a bracha al natilas yadayim, and then you're drying your hands. So that could, if you're going to say that the beginning of the washing is the time period where the delay could possibly begin, so that itself could take a good 10 seconds. By the time you wash your hands properly, so let's say that takes 2 or 3 seconds, right?
Right,
And then to
right,
make a bracha that could take you say your bracha nice without rushing through it, that could take 2 seconds. So you're up to 5 seconds already. And then drying your hands could take another 2, 3. So you're only holding by 7 seconds into your 11 minimal time period already, right? So we have to
right.
know, when does this time period of the delay begin? So that's what the Mishnah is telling you. The beginning of the delay period begins from the time of the drying of the hands, right?
Uh-huh.
Until you actually make the hamotzi, right? So this is going to be very crucial. We're going to come back to this Mishpur when they're going to come and try and limit The delay when you're faced with certain circumstances, like being at a chassan and have to walk half a mile to get to your table, or you have a group of people and everyone's taking their time and washing their hands, and if you wash early on, you're going to be waiting there for everyone else to do their washing. It might take certainly more than 22 seconds. So we're going to come back to this, Mr. Brewer, to see how this fits in to help us lessen the difficulty in trying to be careful about not making the delay. We'll come back to this, Mr. Brewer.
Okay.
The word shani gave means to dry.
Nigev, right. The Nigev is drawing, right. That's why the negative is called a Negev, because it's a dry area, right?
Very dry there. Yeah.
Oh, so until the time that he dries, from then until he says motzi, that's what it means.
Right. That's right. That's the crucial amount of time that you have to keep below, say, the 11 seconds or so.
Okay. So we go to Hey. It says Kedei Hiluch Kaf Bet Amma. So okay, so the time it takes to walk 22 Amma. Shebishior Ze Nikra Hefsech. Okay, so this measurement, I guess, is called a delay. Afilu biyoshe bikomo, and even if he sits in his place, the im holech mibeito levayit acher, and if he walks from his house to another house, yesh shemachmirin afilu bahalicha mu'etet. Okay, that we are strict even in this halicha, this short walk, I guess.
Right. Even if you're going from one house to another house, right, then there are those that are strict about this, even if it's a small amount of time to go from one place to the next. This could be very common, say, on sukkahs. Let's say you have your sukkah out in the backyard.
Oh yeah.
In the courtyard. So let's say you wash inside your house, and then you go outside into your sukkah. That might be considered from going like from one house to the next, right?
That's true. And then if you have 20 guests, that really could take a long time.
That's right. So okay, so let's see how to deal with this all. Okay, let's see the next, Mr. Brewer.
As umashma me'achronim divishelo litzorech ein lishhot klal bein tayim. Okay, so what it's according to the achronim. Okay. Divishelo litzorech. It's not needed to I guess delay.
If there's no necessity, right? The Achronim are telling us that without a necessity, you're not supposed to delay at all.
El yivarech hamotzi miyad achar hanigub. But one should say the motzi right after he dries his hands. Niguv.
Right. So you wash your hands, make the bracha al netilas time, you dry your hands, and then proceed directly to where you have to sit down and wash your hands, dry, and then make a motzi. Right.
Right. That's why at affairs they have a roll at your plate usually, I guess.
Yeah, that's very good. That's right.
So that you can do that. Yeah.
Right. The only problem is when you have to walk a long way to get to your table from the washing station. So what do you do about that delay? So we'll get to that. We'll try and give some advice about what to do in terms of keeping the delay as short as possible.
I hear.
Question that comes to my mind is, if you're at a place where you might want to be yotzi on the balabayas, but you see that there's a lot of people and it's gonna it's going to be a long time. Because sometimes the balabayas will wash last because he wants there to be a minimum time for him.
Right.
So would you say in that case that you should just go ahead and quietly say the motzi yourself and not be?
Well, maybe it's not possible if he's cutting from one main loaf of bread, one challah, so you're not going to have that option, right? Especially if
Right.
you're a guest, right?
You
If
can't.
there's a roll in front of you, so then usually what happens if there's rolls depends on the decorum, the etiquette of the time and place. Sometimes if they put rolls in front of you, they assume that you want to go ahead and make your own motzi without having to wait. Sometimes they want you to wait for the person who's leading the meal. But we'll also try and come up with a an eitzah. We'll come up with some type of a um, good strategy to approach in that case as well. So let's just finish. We'll finish the Mishnas, then we'll talk about it. Yeah,
I'm a little confused by part of your answer. He's going to say motzi on the bread and then he's going to cut it.
right.
So why can't you say motzi on the bread and then he'll cut it? It's the same bread, right?
Because where after you make a motzi, you have to eat right away. Where are you going to eat from?
Yeah, there'd be a delay between our motzi and the eating.
Okay,
Yes, that could be even worse.
so that's not that.
There you may not have an option. Here you have, at least there's a machlokus. You have different opinions say that you have to be careful. You don't have to be careful. But according to I think to most opinions, once you make your motzi, you better eat really quick.
I see.
Yeah, right. But so if you have a roll in front of you, right? So even if it's the etiquette that maybe the person who's going to be leading the suda should be making a motzi first, you could maybe sneak a snip of the roll in front of you if the roll's in front of you. But if there's no roll in front of you, then you have no option. You just have to wait.
Right.
And even trying to go before the one who's leading the meal, it may be frowned upon depending on what kind of context you're sitting in. But we'll get to what we can do to try and get around this problem. Let's just finish the Mishna Berura here.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Vav, mikre hefsek, it is called a interruption, we'll call it, okay? It says, below mikre techef, and if one doesn't, I guess, do it immediately, the im kain, ma,
Is immediate.
tekef is immediately, I think.
Take it immediately. Right. Once you've delayed and once you've made a hefsek, it's no longer immediately.
Oh, it's no longer immediately. Okay.
No,
Okay.
mikre is no longer called immediate.
Okay. V'im kain, lefi ma shepasach hamechaber, detov lizaher litkof netila l'su'uda. So accordingly, what that is what the mechaber is calling an interruption. It's best to be careful. Litkof.
But
between
that it's good to be careful. That it should be immediately you're washing to the suda.
Holy kof, okay, immediately, okay. Yesh l'zaher gam mi lishahot b'intayim shiur kazeh. And there should be also be careful of the delay or the amount of the delay. the measurement of the delay in between this. Okay. Vida, and no, the ikar din tekifa ha muskar b'siman zehu rak mitzvah l'chatchila. Okay, so know that the essence of the law, tekifa,
About the immediacy that it should be done
immediacy.
immediately. The fact that it should be done, that's mentioned that it should be done immediately.
Okay, in this siman is because it's a mitzvah.
Rak mitzvah. It's rak l'katila. It's only a mitzvah l'katila. It's only a mitzvah in the ideal manner.
Ah, oh, okay, in the ideal manner. Aval b'diavad, afilu shacha harbe, and even if there is a long, I guess, delay. Oh, hifsik bein tayim, ein tzarik lachzor v'lito yadav. Okay, so or if there's an interruption in between, there's no need to return and wash your hands. Ki shelo isiach dato.
Kol shelo.
Oh, call. Oh. Kol shelo hisiach dato b'intayim mishmirat yadav. Okay, so all that lo hisiach.
Call as long as there was no distraction of your mind from watching your hands.
Oh, okay.
As long as there was no distraction of watching your hands, as long as you didn't take your mind off of the awareness of what your hands were doing.
Well,
So
wouldn't that be hard to do because don't you say the bracha on the Tilat Yadayim right after you rinse your hands off, wash your?
That's right. So you have to be careful, right? Again, we're talking about there should be no interruption and no waiting. But that's only again ideally that it's for the sake of the mitzvah that it be done that way. But b'diavad, let's say you were in a situation where you had to wait. There was no choice. You had to wait. So even if it was a long time, so then as long as you did not take your mind off of watching your hands, meaning you were cognizant of what your hands were doing, meaning you didn't touch anything you shouldn't have touched that would make them tummy, right? Make them dirty, right? So as long as you were watching and guarding over your hands, that they remain clean from your washing, even if there's a long delay, you can still go ahead and at the time when you can, then make the hamotzi, and there's no need to repeat and wash again.
Okay, so one quick question. I know it's late, but or we can discuss it tomorrow. Let's say, at a family table, you might have 10 people for a meal.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so you wash your hands and you have in mind the mitzvah of Netilat Yadayim. So in
Right.
between Netilat Yadayim and Hamotzi, should you be thinking of Hamotzi after that, or what should you be?
You should be aware that your hands have to be kept clean, not to touch anything that would dirty them. Don't touch your
Okay.
shoes, scratch your head, um, uh, scratch under your undershirt or whatever like that is.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
touch. And as long as you're sitting there waiting patiently for everyone to gather and for everyone's going to make the motzi, then you're okay, b'diavad. Now, but there's another thing. I'll just mention it briefly, but since it's late, I don't want to go too far over. But going back to that original Mishna Berura, right? It says here in Sif Katan Dal, even if there was a delay, Hainu Mishas Nagiv from the Yada, from the time of the drying of the hands until the Brachas Hamotzi. So the time period begins after the drying of the hands. So Rav Scheinberg advised us in many of these situations that we discussed is don't dry your hands. Meaning you've made your bracha al netilas yadayim, but you can not dry your hands. You simply, if you know you're gonna have to wait, go with your hands maybe partially dry, right? And then when you're sitting and you see everyone's getting close to coming and it's getting closer to the time when the hamotzi is actually going to be made, then you can finish drying your hands, even just rubbing them together and dry off the remaining
Right,
moisture on your hands.
Oh,
That's the end of your drying, right? So we're going to discuss this again tomorrow because this is very useful strategy to take in these certain situations, like being away from the washing station to your table when you're waiting for families to gather, when you're waiting for someone to make hamotzi for you. So these are strategies which you can employ to try and help you out of the difficulty in these situations. So
Wow.
so again, Mr. Brewer mentions it's a mitzvah kila ideally so. So again, you don't have to, some people might say, they might want to hurry people unnecessarily. Again, if people are, lolling around and not doing anything, so you have to try and get people to move to wash their hands and make ready to make the hamotzi. But if everyone's doing what they have to do, and it's just taking time because there's so many people or whatever, so you can relax and say, okay, it's pity evid, but we tried our best. Or like I say, we'll employ some of these strategies as we'll discuss tomorrow, Mitzvah Shem.
Okay, very good.
Good.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Very good. Thank you both, Lou and Meir. Thank you for the reading, both of you, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Both have a good afternoon, Mitzvah Shem. Did anyone hear from Roy? Is Roy home or he's still in the hospital? What the situation?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
Anyway, okay. Try and contact him. Very good. Hope to see you all tomorrow, Mitzvah Shem. Be well.
Be well.
All right.
Very good.